In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I design a nice flyer like this in Photoshop. Join me and let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Bright, and on this channel we make videos on graphic designing and tech. If this sounds like something you're interested in, then please kindly consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this. So we are going to create a new project. So I'll press on the Ctrl+N to create a new project. This flyer is going to be a social media post. So I'll change my dimensions to inches. Then I'll choose 4 inches by 4 inches. Then I'll change the resolution to 300. Then I'll click on create. So this is the canvas we are going to work with. Now we're going to draw a perfect circle. So I'll right click on the rectangle tool, then select ellipse tool. Now I'll hold on the shift key. In order for me to get a perfect circle, I'll hold on the shift key, then click and drag to draw my perfect circle, something like this. Now I'll click on the stroke over here, then give it a color. So this is the color code for the stroke. So after giving the stroke a color, then I'll go back to the properties again, then let me change this one from the broken lines to a perfect line. But if yours is already in a perfect line, then there's no need for you to change it. After that, then I will go to the fill in color. Then I will change it to no color. Then I will increase the pixel of my stroke a little. I think this is cool for me. So after drawing a circle, let me increase it a little. I want it to be in the middle of my canvas. So I'll select the layer for the ellipse one, hold on the control key, then select the layer for the background tool. I'll align them horizontally center, then vertically center in order to get them in a center. Now we're going to draw some guidelines, or we're going to draw some grid lines that will help us with the division of the circle. So I'll go to view, then I'll go to create new guide. Then I'll first create a new vertical line on 50% of my ruler. So 50%, then I'll press enter, or I'll click on OK. In case your ruler is not in percentage, you can right click on the ruler, then change it from wherever it is to percentage. Now I'll also draw another horizontal guide. I'll click on view, then I'll click on new guide, but here I will select horizontal, then I will type in the 50%. So this is the middle portion of my canvas. Now I want to also draw another guideline, that's the horizontal guideline on 51 and also 52. So I will go to view, select my new guide, then horizontally I will select horizontal, then type in 51. Press enter. Then I will also go to view again, click on new guide, then type in 52, then press enter. I'll get some. Now I want to do some for the vertical line, but here I will rather put it on 40, and after that I'll put it on 60. So I'll go to view, then click on new guide, then whilst here it was on horizontal, I will change it to vertical, then key in 40% like this. Then I'll do the same thing for the 60% too. This one is also cool. Now I want to put another guideline on, let me say the 33 or 34. So I'll go to view, then go to new guide. Here I'll change it from vertical to horizontal. So I will key in 34 just to get a point like this where I can draw the line that will divide the circle like that. Then I also come down here, I also draw a new guideline to, let me say 66 will be okay. So then go to view, click on new guide, then key in horizontal select. I have to select horizontal first, then key in 66, then press OK. So this is where I'm going to do the demarcation for the circle. Now I will click on the layer of the ellipse one, then I will right click to rasterize it. So I'll select my polygonal lasso and begin to draw my division line. I'll first click on the 49 guideline, then draw a straight line, then come to click on the 51 grid line, then draw another straight line until the cursor or the pointer changes to round. I'll click there to make selection. Then I'll press on the delete key to delete that selection I have made. After that, I'll press on the Ctrl+D to get rid of the selection over there. Now we're going to do same for for this side too. So I'll click at the intersection point of these guidelines at this place, then something like this is cool. Then I'll turn it upwards, then make some simple selection. At least for here, you choose for yourself. After making the selection, I'll press on the delete key. Then I'll press on the Ctrl+D to get rid of the selection I've made. Then I'll go to the right hand side to do the same thing as I did for the left hand side, and I'll press on the, while the selection is made, I'll press on the delete key. After that, I'll press on the Ctrl+D to get rid of the selection I made over there. Now I want to do same to the lower part too, and I'll press on the delete key. Then I'll do same for the right side too. Then I'll press on the delete key to get rid of the selected portion. Then I want to get rid of the selection I've made, so I'll press on Ctrl+D. Now I'm done with the division, so I will now I'll click on view, then click on clear canvas guide to get rid of the guides. Now this is what we have made. Now we're going to cut the lower part of the divided circle, so I will make the selection around the part I want to cut out. Then I'll press on the delete key to get rid of it. Then after I'll press on Ctrl+D. Now this is what we were looking for. It's now time for us to fuse in our pictures, then click mask them. So I'll click on the move tool, then I'll move the circle upwards a little, but I have to make sure it is always in the vertical middle of the canvas. So I think this is cool. Now each one for itself, the demarcations. So I will cut them, but here I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm just going to let them exist as a separate layer. So I'll select my polygonal lasso tool, then make the selection around the point I want to cut. After making my selection, I have to make sure the ellipse one layer is selected. Then I'll right click inside the selection, then click on layer via cut, so that that portion will exist as a separate layer. So I will name it 1. Then I will go to the next one to, I will make selection as I did for the first one. Then I will right click on it. I have to make sure the ellipse layer is selected, and I'll right click and also click on layer via cut. Then I'll name that one to 2. Then I'll move on to the next one. I have to make sure the ellipse 1 layer is selected. Then I'll right click inside the selected portion. Then I'll click on layer via cut. Then I'll name that one to 3. Then to the next one. So after making my selection, I'll select the ellipse 1. Then right click inside the selection. Then click on layer via cut. Then I'll name that one to 4. Then the last layer there will be renamed. Then I will call it 5. So now all these things you see here exists a separate layer. So this one exists as a separate layer, same as this one, same as this one. The little move you do will spoil or will change the shape of the perfect circle you had already. So in order not to get any unfortunate movement within the shapes, let's select them all. We'll first click on the 1, hold the shift key, then come and click on the 5 to make the selections among them. Then you link them so that any movement you do will affect the whole circle, though they exist as a separate layer. Let me now group them. So I'll press on Ctrl+G to group them. Then I will name it divided circle. So after naming them, it's now time to put the pictures inside them. So I will open the group circle, select the 1, then unlink only that one. Then I'll go back to my file manager, select the picture I want to place there. So I want to begin with this one. So I'll click and drag and place it on my canvas. So let me reduce the size of the image and place it at the top of the divided shape or the cut portion. Then I will now right click on the image, on the layer for the image, then create clipping marks for it, so it will be clipped inside the image, something like this. Then I will increase it to position I think I will be okay with. So I think like this is cool for me. After that, I want to give the whole thing a stroke, so I will now merge the layers. I'll now merge it. So I'll select the layer for the image image and select the layer for the one, that's the first shape. Then I will right click and click on merge layer to make it a single layer. Now I will select that same layer, then click on the add layer style, then I will click on stroke. So on the stroke I will choose a color for it, so I'll select the color here. Then with the help of my eyedropper tool, I'll select the same color here, then click on OK, then click on OK. Now you see the stroke is a little bit smaller. We want to increase it, so we now double click on the stroke so that we increase it, the size of the stroke, from 3 to 5. So I think this one is cool for me. Now we're going to do the same thing for the remaining one. So we select the 2, that's the 2, but you see all of the layers have been selected because they have been linked together. So we click on the link button to unlink them. Now we select the 2, then go to our file manager, then choose the next image we want to put in our design. So I want to use this image, so I'll click and drag and bring it back to my canvas. I will then reduce the size of the image, then I'll position it on the number 2, that's on top of the number 2 layer. Then I can choose to click mask them by pressing on the Alt key. Whilst holding on the Alt key, I'll move the mouse cursor to the middle part of the 2 and the layer of the image. When it turns to something like this, then I'll click on it to click mask them. Then I'll adjust it. I think something is okay for me. So now I will merge the layers, that's the layer of the image and the layer of the 2, that's the shape, and I'll merge them. After merging them, I want to copy the effect I applied on this, that's the stroke. I want to copy it on this. So I will hold on the Alt key, then click on the FX over here, and click and drag to the layer I want to copy it on, and leave it. Now the effect will also be applied on that one too. Now we move on to the next part. So I'll go to my file manager and select the next image I want to use. So I want to use this image, so I'll click and drag it on my canvas. Now I'll reduce the size and move it to this point, but it is behind the shape, so I have to select the layer and move it, click and drag, move it upwards until it comes on top of this one. So I will reduce the size a little, then I'll clip mask it. After I have finished with the clip mask, I will adjust it. I think this is okay. Now I will copy the effect on it, but before that I have to merge them, so I will merge them. Now I'll copy the effect on it like this. I think this is okay for me, so I'll move on to the next one. I'll go back to my file manager, copy the next image I want to paste it on my canvas, select, click and drag it onto my canvas. Then I'll make my adjustments. So I'll clip mask it into the shape 4, then adjust it for it to fit it very well. I think this is cool. So I'll merge the layer, but before that, you see it has been linked, so let me unlink them. Then I'll copy the effect from the previous one to the current one. I think this is okay. Now left with the last one, that's the 5. So I'll go back to select the image I want to, then I'll adjust it for it to fit. After the adjustment, then I will clip mask it into the 5 or the 5th layer, then I will adjust it very well. I think this one is cool. So I will merge the layer, that's the image, the layer of the image, then the layer 5. After that, I will copy the effect on it. So I'll hold the Alt key, click on the click and drag the FX on the new one. So we're done with the effects here. The next thing we're going to do is, the layers are plenty, so let's put them in groups. In order for them not to interfere with the other layers we will work with, let's select them and lock them. Now we go to our ellipse to select it and draw another circle in the middle of the effect we did. But in order to get a perfect circle, you hold the shift key. So we'll adjust the circle to a nice portion. I think in the middle will be okay. I think somewhere like this is okay. So we select the layer of the ellipse and we select the properties. We change the color to white. So after changing the color to white, then we select the layer of the ellipse, that's the current circle in the middle. You go to the add layer style and we click on drop shadow to give it a little shadow. So we put the blending mode to normal, we put the opacity to 100, we put the shadow size to 29. So we click on OK. Now we're done with it, but we're going to give our effects here another shadow so that it will look more realistic as comparing to this one. So we'll select the current circle, then we lock it, then we move on to the effect one, that's the divided circle. We select and unlock it so that we can open them. Now you begin from the first one. So we select the layer, we double click on the effect, then we add shadow to it. So we click on drop shadow, it's a size, select it and give it a size. So the distance will be on 19, the spread will be on 4, and the size will be 13 pixels. The blending mode will be normal and the opacity will be 60%. After that, we copy this effect to the subsequent ones. So we hold the Alt key, click on the FX, drag it to the next one beneath it. Same applies to the remaining ones. So we will copy the effect to any layer without the drop shadow. For instance, this layer is with only stroke, so we copy this one on it, that the effect will be applied on it. I think this is cool. So we go back to lock our grouped layer. So we are done with the effect, and we're going to add some information in the middle part, that's the Ellen's wig hub. So I'll select then type in the name, but before that I have to change the color because the color is white. So I'll use, with the help of my eyedropper tool, I'll select this color. I want to use that color there, then bring it upwards a little. So this is the color code I'll be using with the test. So I'll type in Ellen's. We'll be using a font called the PS King Clock. So with the text layer selected, we click on the character and paragraph panel, then we select the font we're going to use, that's the PS King Clock. So I'll switch off this, then I'll now move it to fit the position I want it to be. So I'll reduce the size a little just to give that place a breathing space. So this is cool. Now I will go to my shape tool, right click and select a rounded rectangle. I want to draw a rounded rectangle under the Ellen's. I think this is cool, so I'll change the color. I'll select the rounded rectangle, go to the properties, choose color, then I want to use the color I used for the Ellen's. So choose the color. Now position it to fit the place I want to zoom it, so I'll press Ctrl plus the plus sign to zoom it so that I can do the adjustment very well. I'll go back to the typed information I have here, then I'll copy the wig hub and paste it on my canvas. But before that, I have to select the text tool before I can paste it. So I think this is cool. That one, I will increase the size a little bit, then change the color so that it can be seen when sent to the rounded rectangle. And I'll change the font. I'll be using this particular font, the Cabrio. In the description below, we're going to use the font called the Cabrio Abarth. In the description below will be the link to where you can download all these fonts. So I'll make my adjustment for it to fit inside the rounded rectangle. Once again, I'll zoom it out by pressing the Ctrl plus the plus sign to zoom it so that I can make my adjustments on the wig hub. Okay, I want to align the rounded rectangle and the wig hub so that they will all be in the center. So I'll select the layer for the wig hub, then select the layer for the rounded rectangle. I'll align them vertically, then align them horizontally. After that, I will group them, but before that I will link them so that they can be moved together always. After linking them, I'll press on the Ctrl plus G to group them. Then I will rename it and call it wake hub. I want to align the wake hub, that's together with the rounded rectangle and the L-lines, so that they will be aligned vertically. So I'll select the layer for the wake hub, then hold on Ctrl key, then select the layer for the L-lines. So I'll align them vertically. I think this is cool. I want to move it up a little. This is cool for me. Now we're going to add the unveiling your true elegance. I'll go to the typed information I have here, then copy it, come back to my canvas, then paste it within my canvas. But before that, I have to select the text tool. So with the text tool selected, I'll click on an empty space on my canvas, then paste it. So I'll change the font of the unveiling to the Cabrio Abac. Then I'll move it up so I can adjust it, and I will let it be beneath the rounded rectangle. So we are gradually moving to the end, but there is one image I want to place it to at this side, and the image we need to work on it. So I'll go to my file manager once again, then I will select the image. This is that particular image. So this is what we're going to do. Now I will right click on the image and convert it into a smart object. After that, I'll double click on the small square over here just to get it in another place so that I can work on it. I want to remove the background, so I will select it, then click on my object selection tool so I can draw a nice rectangle around the place I want to make my selection. After that, I'll make the selection like this. Then I will invert the selection by pressing the Ctrl Shift plus I. After that, I'll press on the delete key. But before that, so we need to rasterize the selected layer. So rasterize it and press on the delete key so we can get rid of the background. Just in case you're using the Photoshop CS6, you are not having this one, you can use the magic eraser. So after selecting the magic eraser, you just rasterize your layer and click outside the image. Since it is having the same background color, all the background is going to be removed for you. After that, I will save it. So whilst closing it, I will save it first so that I can get it at this point. Now I will adjust it so that it can fit to the position I want to place it. Okay, I think this is cool. We're going to add some information. So there's one shape or one abstract background. I want to place it here so that I can put my information on it. So I'll go back to my file manager, then I will click and drag the background inside my canvas so that I will press Ctrl plus T to transform it. Then I'll right click and rotate it. If I want to get a perfect rotation, I'll right click and rotate it 90 degrees clockwise. So I'll move it here, but let me reduce the size a little, and I think I want to place it at this side. This side will be okay for me, and I want to send it behind the image. So I will move the layer and send it behind the image, something like this. Let me adjust. Think this is cool. So I want to put my information on this. Contact us for all your quality wigs at affordable price. I will place it. So I'll go to the information I have here, then copy them, and after copying it, I'll place it on my canvas. But before that, I have to select my text tool. So click on an empty space. But you see, the color for the text here is now blue, so it will be difficult for us to see. So let's first change the color to white. After that, we then paste our copied information with the same fonts. So we now adjust it. Let me zoom it. So I'll press the Ctrl plus the plus sign to zoom it so that I can do the adjustment very well. I'll select my text tool up to the quality, then I'll send the rest of the text to the next line. I think something like this is cool. So I'll press on Ctrl plus 0 to get back to the normal view of my canvas and adjust it very well. I think I want to place it here. Now we will draw a rounded rectangle so that we can add some call to actions button or contact. I think contact will be cool. So I'll click on my ellipse tool, then I'll select my rounded rectangle. Then I'll draw a very nice rounded rectangle here where I can place my contact on. I'll change the color of the rounded rectangle to white. So this is cool. I'll do the adjustment and place it to where I want to. So I think this is okay now. Now we place our contacts on our machine. Then we copy the contact, the first one, then come and paste it on the canvas. So we select our text tool, then we click at an empty space on our canvas, then we paste the contact over there. But the font does not, okay, I think this is cool. Let me make an adjustment to it. So I'll increase it a little, then paste the other contact. Before that, I have to select the text tool and go to my file. I'll go to my typed information, copy the second contact, then come to paste it in my canvas. After that, I'll make an adjustment so that it can fit on the position I want it to fit. Now we'll type contact in the rounded rectangle. So we select our text tool, we click on an empty space on our rounded rectangle. You see the rounded rectangle is having the color white, so I need to change the color of the contact to, let me say, this color. With the help of my eyedropper tool, I will select this color, then click on OK. We now move to our typed information, then we select contact, we copy it and come and place it at where our text tool is. So we're going to bold it so that it can pop up very well. So we choose this one. I think like this is okay. So I think we are done with our flyer design for today. You can also have a try with it. In the description below will be all the resources, the fonts we used in designing this flyer, so that you can also download them and have a try with it. You can connect with me on Instagram so that you can show me your work, so we discuss a lot about graphic design. If this sounds like something you're interested, then please kindly smash on the subscribe button for me. My name is Bright. We go talk more, Charlie.